This is Indrani of Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College. Today, I'm going to deliver a lecture on the introduction to ICs and the corresponding mass operation. So here, uh, suppose if you see today's trend, we see all the electronic device, or if you consider any of the field. In any of the field, we are seeing a lot of improvement in the any of the field we are observing. So, what is the reason behind that? Even if you see, in the previous days, in the olden days, we are having the computer size is in a big room. A room is a computer size. But if you see today's, what is the size of a computer? In your palms also, you are able to hold the corresponding computer, and even from your mobiles also, you are able to you are able to connect for so many internets and everything, right? So, like this, we are having the lot of improvement in all the electronic equipment, and not only in the electronics. Even if you consider the usage of these devices, the electronic device or the chips, in any of the field, even including the corresponding radar, yeah, next rockets, even if you consider some signal processing, any of the applications, wireless communication, any of the applications, where not everywhere we are using the integrated circuits. So today we are going to see a brief review about what is the integrated circuit, from where we have started the invention of the integrated circuits. So the first thing is, in 1958, the Texas Instrument has introduced the a first integrated circuit of flip-flop, which is having the two transistors. And similarly, in 2003, the corresponding Intel Pentium 4 processor has been released, which is having the 55 million number of transistors, and having the 512 megabit dynamic RAM, DRAM is there. Yeah. So if you consider, here we are using just a two transistors we have used, but if you consider this one, we are using the 55 million number of transistors. See how much vast improvement is there. From 2 to 55 million, there is a lot of improvement has been happened. Yeah. So we can see the growth rate here is more than 53% over a 45 years. But today, this is a 2021. 2021 means till 2003, there is a 55 million transistor. But today, this year is a 2021 year. So you can imagine how many number of transistors we are using on a corresponding single chip of the silicon layers. This much of the growth is happening in the according to the technology wise. So let us see the first. If you see, from 2 transistors to 55 million transistor, or today nowadays we are using the million trillion number of transistors we are using. So what is the reason behind that? What is the reason to come from a room which is having a computer size to a the corresponding computer which you are able to hold in your corresponding palm? What is the reason behind that? Basically, there is a miniaturization. Miniaturization means it is a reduction in the corresponding size of the corresponding device, reducing the size of the device. Okay, so due to the miniaturization of the transistor, and at the same time, there is a lot of improvement in the manufacturing process. Because of both the things, we are able to see a vast improvement in the corresponding technology. So most of the field, if you consider any of the fields of engineering, yeah, mechanical, civil, or any of the electrical, computers, electronics, any of the fields, in every field, we are bothering about the what is the performance, power, and the corresponding price itself. So next thing is, and at the same time, we are seeing about what is the size of the corresponding device. So size of the device we are expecting nowadays is very little size. The corresponding size of the device should be very small. So to get a size of the device as very small means you can expect that the transistors whatever we are using is also very small. If the transistor size is small, then obviously it is having the faster operation. There is a faster speed of operation. Next, it will dissipate the less amount of power, and at the same time it occupies more area. It occupies a less area, and it is very cheaper to the manufacturing process. These are the basic advantages of reducing the size of a transistor. Okay, so here first, if you consider the first half of the 20th century, in the first half of the 20th century, always in the electronic circuits, we are running behind the corresponding size, expensive. Yeah, next one is power hungry. We require a lot of supply is required, right? Next thing is we have used the type of devices is the vacuum type of devices. Vacuum type of devices. Those devices are unreliable. After invention of the corresponding transistor, the first invention of the transistor is the single point transistor. A single point transistor has been invented by John Bardamin and Walter Brattain in 1947 in the Bell Laboratories. The next thing is after the invention of the point contact transistors, the next development happened is by the Bell Labs they have developed the bipolar junction transistors. So those bipolar junction transistors are reliable, less noisy and more power efficient. Those are reliable, less noisy and more power efficient. These are compared to vacuum type of devices. These are the advantages are present in the bipolar junction transistors. So integrated circuits at the initial stages, they have used the bipolar junction transistors initially. The integrated circuits has been manufactured by using the bipolar junction transistors. Later, if you see the basic property of a transistor, what is the basic property of a transistor? It is having a one controlling terminal is a, and other side of that it is having the two conducting terminals are there. So here we can define the corresponding transistor as a electrically controlled switch with a control terminal, and the other two terminals are connected or disconnected depending on the voltage applied to the controller. For example, if you consider the BJT, bipolar junction transistor. For the bipolar junction transistor, for a small amount of current, very small amount of current itself, we are giving the control element is a base is a controlling element. Okay, so by giving the small amount of current for the base, it will make the connection between the emitter and the corresponding collector terminals, right? So if you are not giving any sufficient amount of current for the base, then automatically the device is said to be off. The device is said to be off. There is no any establishment of the connection between the emitter and the collector terminals. So, but coming for the drawback with respect to the corresponding transistor, bipolar junction transistor. For the bipolar junction transistor, there is a lot of power dissipation can be happened. There is a lot of power dissipation can happen. If I am taking the maximum number of transistor on a single die, a single layer of silicon layer, if I am fabricating the number of transistors, the bipolar junction transistors on a single die here, then all the transistors, because of all the transistors here, due to the base terminal, there is a lot of power dissipation can happen with respect to the transistor, and your chip gets heated up, right? So here, even if you see in your labs also, in the labs also, sometimes we can see that the bipolar junction transistor, from the bipolar junction transistor, we can feel the heat we are feeling means there is a lot of power dissipation will happen, and at the same time we will see that so many times the corresponding transistor will be burned out. That type of situation also we have seen in the laboratories. So that's why the next thing is, the next version of the bipolar junction transistors. Further, it has been improved towards the MOSFETs. That is the metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors. Metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors. In the ideal case, it draws almost zero current. But this type of advantage is not there in the bipolar junction transistor. So in the bipolar junction transistor, the region of operation, we cannot tell that transistor is completely off. Even when the device is off also, there is a continuous, the leakage current will be happening across the terminals of the corresponding transistor. If there is a leakage current is there, automatically your device gets heated up. I'm talking with respect to a single transistor. Suppose if the die is having the many number of transistors, for example, treat that if I'm considering some 100 number of transistors. Okay, so 100 number of transistors on a single die means we can see that there is a lot of power dissipation will happen due to the bipolar junction transistors. So to overcome that limitation, we have gone for the metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors. These MOSFETs is having the zero control current, while in the ideal case, there is a no zero control current will be there in the MOSFETs. So these MOSFETs are available in two forms. Those two forms are, one is the NMOS and another one is the PMOS. NMOS means it is the MOSFET which is having the N-type dopants, and PMOS which is having the corresponding dopants is of P-type. A combination of NMOS and PMOS is the CMOS. CMOS is the complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So this is a combination of both the NMOS as well as the PMOS. So next, this MOS, what is the attractive thing with respect to this MOS integrated circuits? If you are fabricating the integrated circuit by using the MOSFETs, what are the advantages? The advantage is it will the cost is very low, and at the same time the area occupies is very less area will be occupied, and the fabrication is simpler. These are the main advantages of using the integrated circuits. Other than these advantages, there is a few more advantages also there. In the next coming slides, we are going to see what are the other advantages of using the integrated circuits. So generally, the very first MOS transistor, what we have invented is first, as I told you previously, the MOS transistors are first two types, NMOS as well as the PMOS. Out of the NMOS and PMOS, the first general ICs has been manufactured by using the PMOS type of transistors. But there is some drawback is there with respect to PMOS transistor. What is the drawback here is, it is having the poor performance, yield, and it is a less reliability. Okay, so these are the disadvantages with respect to the PMOS. So that's why from 1970 we have used the NMOS type of transistors has been used. The NMOS transistors has been used. By using the NMOS type of technology, the first and foremost, by using the NMOS type of technology, there is a fabrication of static RAM and 256 static RAM and 4-bit microprocessor. Both has been manufactured by the Intel. Later, after the NMOS process, we have gone through the corresponding CMOS. What is the reason behind going for the CMOS is, even the corresponding NMOS is consuming some amount of power when it is in the ideal situation. Even when it is off also, it is consuming some amount of power. So that's why to operate perfectly as a switch, we have gone through the CMOS. CMOS means complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So here, in 1980, there is a power consumption is a main issue. Power consumption is very main issue. Even if you see any of the IC, always we need to run behind what is the area. Area has been satisfied. Next, the corresponding power consumption. The power consumption is of the IC is also more. It became, even if you are using a many number of transistors, if you are using suppose a bipolar junction transistors, at that time we are able to see there is a lot of power consumption is there. So that's why we have gone through nearly through the CMOS type of process. Instead of using the NMOS, bipolar and the PMOS, we have gone through the CMOS type of transistors for all the digital applications. Not only for the digital applications, but for the analog applications also, we have gone through the corresponding CMOS type of devices. So here, if you see what is the integrated circuit? Integrated circuit means it is a miniaturized low-cost electronic circuit which consists of both the active and passive components which are fabricated on a single layer of silicon layer, single chip of silicon. Means here by taking a single chip of silicon layer, on a single chip of silicon layer, I am fabricating both the active and the passive components. What are the active components? Active components means I am doing the fabrication of the diodes and transistors, as well as passive components means I am able to fabricate the corresponding resistor capacitors on a single chip of the silicon layer. So here I want to tell one example. Suppose if you are doing the common emitter amplifier experiment, generally for the common emitter amplifier experiment, how many number of components are required? We require almost some 8 to 10 resistors are required, 3 to 4 capacitors are required. We require a lot of wiring is required to do the connections and all, right? So here, and at the same time we need one breadboard, transistor. These things are required to do the connection of a single common emitter amplifier. Suppose if you are doing a multi-stage amplifier. Multi-stage amplifier means just think that you are a simple one, a two-stage RC coupled amplifier. In the two-stage RC coupled amplifier means I have to take a number of resistors and the capacitors. Almost you need to take some 20 number of components I need to take, right? So here, based on the number of stages, we have to increase the number of components. And if I consider the area of the device, what is the area of the circuit? You will get a area is some large area only we can get. If you are increasing the more and more number of stages, then size of the corresponding circuit also increases more and more. And at the same time, wiring complexity also increases. Wiring complexity also increases. So that's why here, if you see, if I am replacing the entire circuit by a single integrated circuit of an IC, IC means integrated circuit. So this is the IC. So if I am replacing the entire circuit by an IC, what are the advantages it is having? First thing is the area is very less it is having. Second thing is we are not using any wiring type of structure we are not using. Next, third thing is we are replacing all the resistor, capacitors and everything by a single IC we are replacing. Due to that, the power dissipation also becomes reduces. And whatever the cost, suppose if I am fabricating the multi-stage of RC coupled amplifier on a PCB, printed circuit board. On a PCB, if I am designing the multi-stage amplifier on the PCB, it will occupy a large area, definitely it will occupy. Instead of using that, instead of using these discrete components, I am fabricating all the transistors of active and passive elements on a single chip of the silicon layer. On that, by taking the silicon layer as a body, in that body I am fabricating all the active and the passive components. So due to that, finally I am able to see an IC which is of the form like this. So internally in the IC, it is having the connections will be there, and these are the terminals of an IC. These are called, named as the terminals of an IC. Internally, it is having the silicon chip. There is a silicon chip also will be existed, but externally we will see a plastic type of connection like this, and at the same time we are able to see the terminal connections like this. So what are the advantages? What are the advantages of using the IC? So what are the advantages of using the IC is, first thing is miniaturization. Miniaturization is increased. What is meant by miniaturization? Reducing the size of the device. Day by day, the size of the component is reducing. If the size of the component is reducing, what is the advantage? You can increase the equipment density. You can fabricate a million number of components on a small area only. I can able to fabricate a million number of components. Next thing is, second advantage is batch processing. The batch processing means we can able to manufacture so many devices at a time without without manufacturing single transistor, single resistor, single capacitor like that. At a time, we can fabricate the corresponding IC at a time. Some million number of ICs can be manufactured at a time. So this is called, due to this, what is the advantage? Due to this, the cost is reduced. That is, the cost is reduced. The third advantage is reliability is more. The system reliability is more. The reliability is more, that is mainly due to the elimination of the solder joints. Elimination of the solder joints. Sometimes if you consider your PCB, in the PCB, sometimes there is a possibility that few of the connections gets removed. Right? So few of the connections gets removed. So there is a possibility of connection removal. At that time, we cannot see always where is the corresponding, where is the connection loss and everything. So, but if you see if you replace the PCB by IC, then the corresponding IC, in that IC, no such type of soldering joints are there. So due to this, the reliability of the system will be increased. Next advantage is better functional performance, and at the same time, the increased speed of operation. The next thing is, there is a significant reduction in the power consumption. Significant reduction in the power consumption. These are the main advantages of the integrated circuits. Now, what is the classifications of the ICs? Classification of IC. Coming for the classification of IC, the classification is based on how many number of MOS transistor we are fabricating on a single chip of the silicon layer. Based on how many number of components we are fabricating on a single chip of silicon layer, the ICs has been classified into small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration, very large scale integration, ultra large scale integration, and GSI, giga scale integration. So coming for the small scale integration. Small scale integration means it consists of the number of gates, the corresponding MOSFETs, the gates is having is a less than 10 number of gates will be present. By using that, the logical gates can be manufactured. AND gates, OR gates, NAND gate, NOR gates. These gates can be manufactured by using these less number of the gates. Next, coming for the medium scale integrated circuit. In the medium scale integrated circuit, the number of gates per IC is, the number of components per an IC is from 10 to 100 number of components can be considered. So by using this medium scale integration circuit, flip-flops, adders, counters, multiplexers, demultiplexers, these things can be manufactured. Next, coming for the large scale integrated circuits. In the large scale integrated circuit, the number of gates per an IC is from 100 to 10,000. 100 to 10,000. So by using this IC, the device that can be manufactured here is a small memory chips can be manufactured. Next, programmable logical devices can be manufactured. Next thing is the very large scale integrated circuits. Very large scale integrated circuit means it is having the number of gates for an IC is from 10,000 to 1 lakh. So by using these many number of gates, the devices that can be manufactured is large memory chips and CPLDs, complex programmable logical devices. Next thing is ultra large scale integration, which is using the components in the range from 1 lakh to 10 lakh. And by using that, there is a manufacturing of the 8 and 16-bit microprocessors. Next thing is a giga scale integration circuits. So more than 10 lakh. So that is a Pentium 4 process can be manufactured. Not only the application up to here, we can, by using these these gates, we can manufacture so many components. So many components we can manufacture. Now let us see the basic, the integrated circuit. As I told you previously, the integrated circuits has been manufactured using a NMOS, PMOS. Nowadays we are using the CMOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So complementary metal oxide semiconductor or CMOS is a combination of NMOS as well as the PMOS. So first, let us be thorough with the operation of how these MOS transistor, what is the structure of this MOS transistor, and how it is functioning, and everything let us learn. So now, considering the MOS transistor, there is a two types of MOS transistors. One is the NMOS and another one is the PMOS. So in the NMOS transistor, this is it is having the terminals as source, drain and gate. Basic terminals of the MOS transistors is source, drain, next gate, and here this is called as a body or substrate. Body or substrate. Similarly, coming for the PMOS. In this PMOS, the body, source, drain and gate. So coming for the NMOS. NMOS means it is having the source and drain. These two terminals are the source and drain terminals. The source and drain are the N type and the corresponding body is the P type. And if I consider the, similarly, consider the PMOS transistor. In the PMOS transistor, the source and drain are the P type and the body is the N type. And if you see the representation, the source and drain has been represented here is N plus, P plus, P plus, right? But if you consider the down body here, we have represented in the normal form as a P and N. What is the difference it makes out is here source and drain are heavily doped compared to the body. Source and drain are heavily doped compared to body. To represent this heavily doping concentration here, we have represented the source and drain has been represented by the dopants of N plus, N plus, P plus and P plus. And in between the source and drain region, the top, if you consider the top here, this is having the silicon dioxide layer. The purpose of the silicon dioxide layer is it works as a dielectric material. This works as a dielectric material. On the top of the silicon dioxide layer, we are having the polysilicon gate material. And this is a circuit diagram which is showing for the PMOS type of transistor. For this PMOS, it is also having the source, drain or the P plus and the body here is N type, and in between the source and drain, we are having the gate, polysilicon gate. Beneath that, we are having the silicon dioxide layer. So this is the terminal. These are the terminals of the transistor. Now, if you see the symbolic representation, if you consider the symbolic representation, the NMOS is represented by like this. This is the symbol for the NMOS. The NMOS is represented by in the form like this. However, the structure is there in the similar form it has been represented. So this is the gate terminal and this end is source. This is the drain. And coming for the PMOS type of transistor. In the PMOS transistor, what is the difference that makes out here is the PMOS transistor is represented with a small bubble on the top. PMOS transistor is represented by a small bubble on the top. So this is the source and drain and this is the gate. If by seeing this symbol itself, we can able to tell that yes, this is the PMOS type of transistor. So PMOS transistor consists of source and drain or P type. Contrast to that, the body is the N type. For the NMOS transistor, source and drain are N type. Contrast to that, the body is the P type. Okay, so this is the way how to represent, and in general we will represent like this. This is the NMOS, and the another one is, this is the PMOS type of transistor. And one more thing. So in this, this is the basic structure of the MOS transistor of NMOS as well as the PMOS. In this NMOS and PMOS also, there is a further classification is there with respect to the transistor. What is the further classification here is, the NMOS transistor is categorized into, the NMOS and the PMOS can be categorized into NMOS enhancement mode based on the structure, enhancement mode, and another one is the NMOS depletion mode. NMOS depletion mode. Similarly, if I consider the PMOS type of device, in the PMOS type of device, here also it is having the PMOS enhancement mode and PMOS depletion mode. PMOS enhancement mode and PMOS depletion mode. So here, if you see this diagram, what is this diagram signifies here is NMOS enhancement mode type of transistor. NMOS enhancement mode type of transistor. In this NMOS enhancement mode transistor, the source and drain are the N type, and the body here is this is the body or substrate is the P type of substrate material. Next, here this terminal is the silicon dioxide layer. Next, here this is the polysilicon gate material. Polysilicon gate material. Next, whatever this correction is there, this is the metal. The wire we are connecting. This is also a metal. This is the metal. Okay. This is the metal. This is what it has been represented here. So, these are the different parts of the corresponding NMOS enhancement mode type of transistor. Basically, what is the purpose of gate? Here is, here total controlling part is, total controlling terminal is a gate is a total control element. Gate is a total control element. So here, based on the voltage we are applying for the gate terminal, based on the voltage we are applying for the gate terminal, here if you see what will happen. Here source and drain are the N type. Source and drain are the N type. And the body is a P type of body is there. So the source is having the majority carriers are electrons and minority carriers are holes. And the P type is having the majority carriers are holes. Minority carriers are electrons. Next, for the drain, it is having the majority carriers are electrons. Minority carriers are holes. Here, the main object here is, by giving the supply voltage for the gate, here, the purpose of giving the voltage for the gate is, it will establish the channel between the source and the drain region. It will establish the channel between the source and drain region. What is the necessity of establishment of a channel between the source and drain region? Here, the current carriers here is the electrons are the majority carriers in the source as well as the drain. So, the current flow is due to the electrons, the majority carriers of the electrons. So, the electrons has to move from source region to drain region, means there should be some path has to established between the source and the drain region. Listen carefully. So, here in between the source and drain, the electrons, the majority carriers of electrons from the source, they have to move from the source region to the drain region. But in between this source and drain region, what is the path it is having here? This is having the P type of substrate design. P type of substrate. P type of substrate means it is having the majority carriers are holes, minority carriers are electrons. So you can imagine that here in between these two, the majority carriers are holes, means I am representing simply like this, a positive type of thing I am representing. Majority carriers are holes are present like this. somewhere some few of the electrons are present like this. So once imagine that if I'm not giving any voltage for the gate, if I'm not giving any voltage for the gate, then whether the majority carriers of electrons can move from source region to the drain region. The majority carriers of electrons can move from source region to the drain region? No, because here the entire channel region, the channel region is nothing but it is a region between the source and drain is called as a channel. The region between source and drain is called as a channel. So the region has been filled by the majority carriers of holes. The region has been filled by the majority carriers of the holes. So that's why here for the electrons to take the movement from source region to drain region, these carriers can be blocked by this whole type of structure. But what is the objective here for us? We require there should be a free movement of the electrons from source region to drain region. To make this thing available here, I am giving some amount of voltage for the gate. What is the voltage I am giving? Suppose if I am giving the negative voltage for the gate, what will happen? If I am giving negative voltage for the gate here, then due to this negative voltage, here there is a silicon dioxide layer is there. This is working as a dielectric layer. This is called as a insulating layer or a dielectric layer. So this insulating material is working as a dielectric material here. So by giving the negative voltage for the gate here, it will attract all the holes under the corresponding channel region. Already we are having some holes in the channel region, but here my aim is I need to pass the electrons from source to drain. If the holes are present in the channel like this, the holes cannot move from source region to drain region. So that's why instead of giving the negative voltage, I need to give a positive voltage for the gate material. If I am giving the positive voltage for the gate material, what will happen? If I am giving the positive voltage for the gate material, due to the dielectric material here, all the electrons, whatever the electrons are there, those electrons will move towards the channel region. Next, whatever the holes are there, they will move away from the channel region like this. There is a distribution of the carriers will be present like this. Due to this, what will happen? Here, if you observe, source is having the majority carriers are electrons, drain is having the majority carriers are electrons, and the channel is also filled with the electrons. So now, if I am giving a small voltage between the drain and source terminal, what is the voltage I need to give? The drain should have the positive compared to the source terminal. So if I am giving the drain to source voltage as the drain is having the positive compared to the source here, then obviously these electrons will move from the source region to drain region very freely. The entire process is happening due to what? By giving the positive voltage for the gate. Instead of giving the positive voltage for the gate, if I am giving the negative voltage for the gate, what will happen? Previously we have seen all the holes will be accumulated in the channel region. At that time there is no movement of electrons from the source region to the drain region. So that's why definitely to start the conduction, the movement of carriers is nothing but a conduction of the current flow. How the current flow is generated? The current is generated due to the movement of the corresponding carriers. Here the movement of carriers is the current is due to the electrons. So electron movement should happen. The electron movement should happen means whatever the channel region is there between source and drain, it should be filled with the electrons. So that's why to fill with the electrons here, I'm giving the negative voltage for I'm giving the positive voltage for the gate terminal. Okay. So like this, there is a conduction can start. Yeah. So this is with respect to the structure wise. This is with respect to the NMOS enhancement mode. Later, we can go for what are the different region of operation with respect to NMOS type of transistor. Contrast to this, as I told you previously, there is a NMOS depletion mode transistor is also there. NMOS depletion mode transistor. What is the difference between the NMOS enhancement mode and NMOS depletion mode is mainly in the structure we can see the difference. What is the difference we can see? If you observe here, source and drain is as it is, gate is as it is, silicon dioxide is as it is. Only the thing is, main difference here is we are getting some implant type of region between the source and drain. Implant type of region between the source and drain, right? So here the implant is present. Implant is present means suppose if the source and drain are N-type, for the NMOS is the NMOS. So that's why here source and drain are N-type means the implant is also N-type of implant itself. N-type of implant itself. What will happen due to that? What will happen due to that? Here, the purpose of giving the voltage for the gate is to establish the channel for the enhancement mode type of operation. But coming for the depletion mode type of transistor, for the depletion mode type of transistor, there is no any initiation of the corresponding voltage for the gate. Why? Because here already there is a channel is established in between the source and drain by using the implant type of material. By using implant type of material, channel is already framed, fabricated. So here there is no need of any establishment of the channel between the source and drain. So by giving certain amount of voltage between the drain and the source voltage, drain is having the positive compared to source, then obviously whatever the electrons are present, the electrons will move from the source region to the drain region like this. In this direction, the electrons will move from source region to drain region. At that time, the current direction is in the opposite direction for the MOSFET. Current direction is opposite direction for the MOSFET. Now, my next question is, then what is the purpose of gate? What is the purpose of gate? In the enhancement mode operation, by giving certain amount of voltage for the gate, you have established the channel. By giving the voltage between the drain and source, there is a conduction of the, there is a movement of carriers happen between source and drain. Due to that, we can see the conduction of the current. But coming for the NMOS depletion mode type of transistor, in the NMOS depletion mode type of transistor, already there is a channel is there between the source and drain region because of the implant type of material. Then what is the purpose of gate here is, the purpose of gate is here is to turn off the device, to turn off the device. So to turn off the device means here initially itself, even when the gate voltage is 0 also, by giving small amount of voltage between drain to source, our device of MOSFET is on. But here to turn off the device from on to off here, to turn off the device from on to off, what I need to do is, I need to change the corresponding voltage for the gate. What is the voltage change I need to make it out? Here already you have the N-type of implant is there. N-type of implant is there. The channel is already filled by the N-type of electrons. So, if I am able to make the reverse of the corresponding channel, if I am able to make the reverse of the channel, how to make the reverse of the channel here? By giving the voltage for the gate. What is the voltage I need to give for the gate? For this one, if I am giving the negative voltage for the gate and positive voltage for the source like this, then what will happen here? If I am giving the negative voltage for the gate, due to this negative voltage, whatever the existing electrons in the implant region, those will get repelled if I am increasing the gate voltage value. So with the increase of gate voltage value, all these electrons will repel, will move away from the channel region like this, and whatever the holes are there in the p-type of substrate, they will be attracted towards the channel region, right? So this is the way to turn the device from on to off. This is with respect to the depletion mode type of transistor. The purpose of gate here is to turn off the device for the depletion mode transistor. But coming for the enhancement mode transistor, to switch, to turn on the device by giving certain amount of voltage for the gate, then only your device can be turned on. So to turn on the device, I need to give certain amount of voltage for the gate. Then only there is a establishment of channel between the source and drain region. Later, by giving certain amount of voltage between drain and source regions, then there is a carrier movement can starts. Okay, so this is the basic operation of NMOS enhancement mode and NMOS depletion mode type of transistor. Now let us see the basic operation. There is a three region of operations are there. In the previous slides, I have just given a overview of what is the NMOS enhancement mode and what is the NMOS depletion mode type of transistor. But if I see the second thing, if you consider the NMOS enhancement mode type of transistor, there is a three region of operations are there in the NMOS enhancement mode type of transistor, like a bipolar junction transistor. For the bipolar junction transistor, we are having the active, saturation and cutoff region based on the biasings. Similarly, for this NMOS enhancement mode type of operation also, there is a three region of operations are there. Here we are having the cutoff region, linear region or non-saturation region, and the third thing is a saturation region. Okay, these are the three modes of operations are there with respect to the MOS transistor. Now, today let us see, by taking the NMOS enhancement mode transistor. NMOS enhancement mode means, as I told you previously, the source and drain are N-type and the body is a P-type of body is there. Right? So, this is the polysilicon gate material, and under this we are having the silicon dioxide layer is there. Now, if I am giving the gate voltage as 0, no voltage has been applied between the gate terminal. When the gate voltage value VG value equal to 0 here, VGS value equal to 0, what will happen? There is if VGS value equal to 0 means, then normally the structure consists of N-type is having the majority carriers or electrons, and similarly drain is also having the majority carriers of the electrons. And whatever this body is there, body can be filled by the majority carriers of holes, and some places you will see the minority carriers of electrons when VGS value equal to 0. In this region, the corresponding, there is a no channel is present, and the drain to source current value equal to 0, because there is no any movement of carriers from source region to the drain region. So that is previously the mode of operation, we can call it as a cutoff region. Next region is a linear region. In this region, what will happen? In this region, slowly I am giving the VGS value. Slowly I am increasing the VGS value, and to establish the channel here, the VGS value should be greater than VT, means the threshold voltage value. When the VGS value is greater than the threshold voltage value, like how there is a for the diode, if you consider a PN junction diode, for the PN junction diode, when the diode is in forward bias condition, for a small amount of forward voltage, immediately we cannot observe any conduction of the current. That is due to the corresponding cut-in voltage we will call. Cut-in voltage there we can call. But here, same cut-in voltage I am calling here as a threshold voltage. So, in the PN junction diode, under the forward characteristics, when the input voltage value exceeds the cut-in voltage, then only we can observe the diode current will start. Similar manner, here to establish the channel, the corresponding gate to source voltage value should be greater than a threshold voltage value. If the gate to source voltage value is greater than the threshold voltage value here, then only there is a establishment of the channel under the gate terminal. Now if you observe here, in the previous slide, if you observe the previous slide, in this slide, initially in the channel region, it has been filled by all the majority carriers of holes itself. Now, if I'm increasing slowly the gate to source voltage value, slowly if I'm increasing, okay, just treat that the threshold voltage value equal to 0.6 volts. If the 0.6 volts is the threshold voltage value, if I'm increasing the gate to source voltage value as a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 like that, slowly for this value, slowly the corresponding movement of carriers will start and the holes under the channel region will move away from the channel region. When the VGS becomes approximately equal to 0.6 volts, then obviously what will happen? When VGS is approximately equal to 0.6 volts means, then all the majority carriers of holes will move away from this channel region and all the minority carriers of electrons will attracted towards the channel region. Okay, so after the attraction, when VGS value equal to 0.6 volts, suppose if the VGS value is greater than 0.6 volts, what will happen? If VGS is greater than 0.6 volts and at the same time, not only, when the VGS is greater than 0.6 volts initially, what will happen is all the corresponding channel region is having all the electrons, it is filled by the electrons, the minority carriers of the electrons in the channel region. And one more thing is, after the establishment of the channel region, now I'm giving certain amount of voltage between the drain and the source region. So here this voltage is the drain and the source voltage. So for this drain and source voltage here, for this drain and source voltage value, so the corresponding electrons will move from source region to drain region because your drain terminal is positive compared to the source terminal. Your drain terminal is positive compared to the source terminal. So due to this, the electron gets attracted towards the drain region. So at that time, if you observe the channel and whatever the mainly we need to concentrate that, this is the condition. When the VDS value is less than VGS minus VT. VGS minus VT is called as a effective gate voltage. So here, when the drain to source voltage value is less than VGS minus VT value, then what will happen? The corresponding majority carriers of electrons will move from source region to drain region. And if I observe the depletion region, how the depletion region is distributed. The depletion region is distributed slightly in the form of a non-uniform manner. So, slightly in the form of a non-uniform manner is because here your drain terminal is positive. When drain terminal is positive here, then the electrons which are nearer to the drain, they will attract fastly by the positive voltage of the drain. So due to that, the number of electrons which are nearer the drain somewhat will be reduced compared to the electrons nearer the source region. Because if you see, the length of this channel is L. You can think that here, if you observe the effect of this voltage on these carriers, the effect of this voltage on these carriers is more compared to the effect of this voltage on the carriers which are far from the corresponding supply voltage. So that's why if you see the depletion region width, the depletion region width is somewhat more towards the source compared to the drain region when VDS is less than VGS minus VT. It is not too much less, little bit less I am talking, only little bit less it will be present. Now, this region is called as a linear region. In this region, what will happen? If the VDS value increases, the drain to source current IDS is also increased. The drain to source current IDS also increases in a linear manner. And the next mode of operation is the saturation region. In this saturation region, what is the condition for the saturation region is when VDS is greater than VGS minus VT. When VDS is greater than VGS minus VT means here your drain positive voltage become very much more compared to the effective gate voltage value. So when this condition happens, then if I observe the depletion region does not consist of very few number of it consists of very few number of electrons nearer the drain region compared to source. If you see the slope here, the slope towards the source is more compared to the drain region. So this mode of operation is called as a pinch off region. This mode of operation is called a pinch off region. Why it's happening? Why it's happening is just to think of here. The purpose of gate voltage is to invert the channel region. To invert the channel region, I am giving voltage for the gate, and the effective voltage of the gate is VGS minus VT. This is the effective gate voltage. But once if I'm slowly increasing the drain to source voltage value, the drain to source voltage value is exceeding the effective gate voltage value. So, if it is exceeding the effective gate voltage value, at that time, the gate voltage is not sufficient to invert the channel region, right? So, here the force of the drain voltage is more because the drain to source voltage is more compared to the effective gate voltage. So, this gate voltage is not sufficient to invert the channel region. So that's why we can observe that the carriers nearer the drain is very less compared to source. Carriers nearer the drain is very less compared to sources. The reason behind that is due to the positive voltage is more, effect is more on the carriers which are nearer to the drain compared to the source. So at that time we can see the channel, if you observe, the channel will be like this. So at the time, the current is not zero. Just a little amount of carriers can move from source region to the drain region. At the time, I can tell that the current becomes constant. Current is constant and it is independent of the corresponding VDS value. In the previous case of linear region or non-saturation region, as the VDS is increased, the drain to source current also increased. But this time, if I am increasing the VDS value also, then IDS cannot be increased, right? So this region is called as region is called as a pinch off or saturation region. Pinch off or saturation region. So I think it's clear up to here. So now today what we learned, we have seen what is a basic introduction of the corresponding IC technology, why we have gone through what is the drastic improvements in the fields we have seen, and what is the background behind the IC technology, and at the same time what is the basic MOS transistor, what are the different mode of operations of the MOS transistor, and by taking the NMOS, enhancement mode type of operation, what is the region of operations also we have seen. That is a region of operations also we have seen. So this is up to here. So now in the next class, let us continue.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.